Thank you, kids. Here we are, 20 June, the longest day of daylight of the year. Or, as Attorney General Eric Holder says, can we get the lights turned off, please? Because we really don't want you to see what's going on. Good to have you on board. Wednesday here on the program, your 643 ATM of Informacion, loaded up, ready to be accessed. The PIN 800-876-4123 on the program, where we like our flying a little turbulent, our women a little crazy, and our politics a little messy. Can it get much more messier than it has gotten in the last 12 hours with the executive privilege of the privileged President Obama? Marcelo working the dials, Brad producing the program, emails at the website jerrydoyle.com, and the poll question up there for you today. The Prez has cited executive privilege to keep documents from Fast and Furious from seeing the light of day. Now, Representative Elijah Cummings, the Democrat from Maryland, says that Attorney General Eric Holder is being held to an impossible standard. And what do you say to that? 3% say you agree with the congressional twit. 5% say you disagree with the congressional twit. 92% say, when did the truth become an impossible standard? Good question. Answer it there or here at 800-876-4123. Not a good question because I asked it. It's just a good question overall. When did the truth become an impossible standard? The truth is what it is. It's the easiest thing to go with. It's the lies that are difficult. It's the cover-up. It's the collusion. It's the gamesmanship. It's the politics. What did I say? Who did I promise what to? And based upon what I promised, this is what I can't say. But do I remember saying what I did say back then? And how do I remember that to be what it was, but it's not fitting with what it is we're telling today? The lie du jour, the spin that's coming out. And why don't you just come out and tell us the truth? It'd be over. It'd be over. We're a very forgiving nation. Not much would be something that we would be told where we wouldn't go, I get it. I understand it. I don't condone it. But I maybe could see where you were coming from, but I at least appreciate the fact that you told me the truth. Politicians today, political parties, agendists, if they just laid their cards out on the table and said, look, this is what it is, folks. We're sorry. I think more people would be inclined to reward their honesty. Maybe not necessarily to forgive and never forget, but at least to say, now, here we go. This is what we have to deal with. This is the honesty that we've been looking for. And now that we know what the truth is, how do we go about making sure that what we get going forward is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Or is that something that's just become an impossibility? Chicken and the salmonella egg. Where did the lie generation start to come into effect? I've said on the program many times, for many years, that I believe that when Bill Clinton said, it depends upon what the definition of is, was one of the worst things that could have been said, repeated, and embraced. It depends upon what the definition of is. And at the time when he said that, my comments were along the line of, if the president can define what the definition of is, then anybody can redefine what the definition of anything is. What is the truth? Well, it depends upon who you're talking to. No, it's not. The truth is the truth. Is it just that it's too brutal? It's that it's too honest? And we get to a point where we hear the truth, we go, wow, that feels uncomfortable because we've gotten so used to the lies. And now I listen to this nonsense about the executive privilege coming from the president to cover up a crime scene, a national tragedy. And the president's, for the first time ever, President Obama, executive privilege. We just don't want you to know. To protect who? Eric Holder? So get rid of him. Is anything going to change if Eric Holder goes away? Or any of Holder's underlings? Or even Obama, if he goes away. See ya. Good riddance. Thanks for stopping by. You tried, you screwed up. We'll find someone who can do better. You think the entire system's going to collapse? If Obama throws in the towel, Holder throws in the towel, or they throw Holder under the bus and say you're out of here because you lied? But take a look at how high the lies go and the cover-up goes. You would think that maybe an underling who was trying to protect his job because he was trying to pay his mortgage and keep his kids in school or buy the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip for his kid's birthday, you go, I understand why he lied. But then there's a superior above that person that's supposed to be accountable for what those people do and to demand the truth. And you work your way up the chain. And you go higher, and the lies go higher. And you go higher, and the lies go higher. And then the cover-ups, covering up the lies, go higher and higher and higher, where now we have an imperial president who feels compelled to cover up the lies and the death of Brian Terry and doesn't seem to be fazed by it in the least. Do these jeans make my ass look big? No, your ass make the jeans look big. Now, maybe that's a little bit too close to the truth for some people, but it's the truth. But we don't deal in the truth anymore because the truth is inconvenient to what it is that the game's all about. One man's truth is another man's lie. It depends upon what the definition of is. We saw the slimeball himself, John Edwards, his defense team, was trying to parse what the definition of the word the is, T-H-E. Because Bill Clinton said, depends upon what your definition of is. John Edwards' defense team, depends upon what your definition of the is. This administration depends upon what your definition of a tax credit is. It depends upon what your definition of mission accomplished is. We can go down the list of people that just give us words that just seem to be able to have different meanings applied to them whenever it's convenient for them to do it. We can't go on like that, folks. There's no future in that. There's no future in us accepting anything less than the truth. Can you imagine if we actually were told just how screwed up we are financially, domestically, internationally, just how corrupt the banking system had become, just how indebted we truly are? I mean, it's almost as if they think we're too frail to deal with the truth. And sure, the truth may sting. Pow! Right between the eyes. Maybe a knockout punch. You may wake up and go, what happened? I know I have a headache, but what happened? What happened was you were hit square with the truth between your eyes. Okay. Over the initial blow. Housing prices. Your house was $400,000. Then it was $350,000. Then it was $325,000. Oh, geez, really? $325,000? It was just $350,000. Yeah, well, now it's $300,000. Well, okay, $300,000. I remember when it was $325,000. That was better, but now it's $250,000. $250,000? Oh, boy, really? That's $150,000 from where I had, but wow, how low could it go? $225,000? Really? It can go to $225,000. Now it's at a deuce? Wow, we're at a deuce, and it's going to $175,000. But that happens over 6 years, which is what has been happening with housing prices. The reality is, if your house was $400,000 and now it's $150,000, it's $150,000. It's a $250,000 knock, which I would rather have immediately than spread out over 6 years, because at least we're getting to reality. How bad is the financial derivatives problem? $600 trillion. But they're just going to give us a little here and a little there, because if they gave us the real number, we'd go, oh, my God, 6 times the GDP of the entire planet? That's huge. Give us the number. It may be a huge shock to the system, just as it is with the truth or the lies about the Fast and the Furious. Somebody's dead, folks. Brian Terry is dead. But even then, there's something about protecting the status quo. There's something in the mind of these twisted individuals that think the lie or the cover-up is more important about the truth about someone in this country who died protecting this country. That is a sad destination point for us as a country. And that's not partisan. That's not Republican. That's not Democrat. It just happens to be that Obama and Holder are Democrats. But for those of you Republicans out there who are just strictly pointing fingers at them and saying, see, look what they do. They all do it. And they do it, and they get away with it because you allow it if it's your guy or your gal. And you point the finger if it's not, and you embrace them or protect them or avoid having those discussions about the truth. Because it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable. But until we start to deal with the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, whatever that might be, we're going to continue to see an imperial president and an out-of-control Congress running roughshod over the Constitution, violating the rule of law, and treating us like pawns on a chessboard. And not to diminish the life and death of Brian Terry, but unfortunately, in their world, he's a pawn, and pawns are expendable because there's a lot of pawns on the chessboard. Their job is to protect the royalty, to protect the king and the queen, and to lay down your life at any cost. And I would suggest to you that even if we don't have the truth, if we had the truth, it still wouldn't be worth the loss. And what did he die for? What was he protecting? What was he defending? What was he standing up for? The perpetuation of a lie and a cover-up? Sad destination we've gotten to, folks. When did the truth become an impossible standard?
The Jerry Doyle Show.
Senator Marco Rubio is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. His new book, An American Son, constitutional expert on the constitutional crisis of executive privilege. Bruce Fine is going to join us at the top of the next hour. Matt Kibbe, president and CEO of FreedomWorks. His new book, Hostile Takeover, Resisting Centralized Government Stranglehold on America. Amen to that. We're going to lighten it up in the last hour of the program with Kurt Loder. He's got a movie review of two films, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and To Rome with Love. Stick with me.
This is the Jerry Doyle Show.